Hello there, beautiful. Let's amplify your message and grow your mission together. I'm Kim Parkinson, your host, as always, of Podcasting for Spiritual Women, and I'm here to help you launch, produce, and grow your podcast. And my mission is to really get you to use your voice to connect with not only your aligned clients, but your aligned best clients. We want them to know you, like you, trust you, using the power of your voice. And today, we're going to be talking about when is the right time to launch. And if you have been wondering this, then we're going to talk about some of the energetics of launching today and what season you are in and whether or not this is the right season for you to start launching. We are deep into summer here in the United States, and so most people would suggest that maybe this isn't the correct time to launch. And actually, I would even say that maybe it isn't, but I'm actually recording all of these in May. So if you have been feeling like maybe you want to start a podcast, some of the things to consider is whether or not you have that kind of time to put into all of those ideas. It doesn't mean you can't start thinking about those ideas right now, really getting all of those ideas out and maybe onto paper and scheduling them, maybe even recording some of them. But do you really feel like this summertime is the time when you can actually devote to putting it out there and to really getting it going? And maybe, listen to this, maybe the idea is you are okay with it because the first couple are going to have hiccups, right? The first couple are going to be a little bit of chug, chug, chug to get it going on. And you might be feeling like, I really do want that because by the time September rolls around, I want to be proficient in this. I want to be having this just roll like it is just something that I do on a regular basis. And if that's the way you're thinking, first of all, I love it. I'm here for it. I think that that is amazing that you have that fortitude to go forth that way. Again, I'm recording most of these in May. I'm hoping to get all of June, July, August, and maybe even the first 2 in September done before I actually launch in June. I know, it's insane, but I just have so much knowledge, and that's why I think in the first or second episode, I was like, I might release 2 a week. And you know what? If I really find that I'm cruising right along, I might still do that. So this is some of the energy that you have to kind of bring forth, these energetics that you need to know inside of you on whether or not this is the right season, the right time to launch. And by season, I don't always just mean summer, fall, winter, spring. I don't always mean that. Sometimes it's a turn of the wheel season. Lunasa's coming up in a couple of weeks. Then we're going to have Lionsgate. And Lunasa, it's harvesting. It's the reflection on what you've created and what is thriving, acknowledging the work that it took to get there, all of the celebration. And then even as far as Lionsgate, Lionsgate is going to be peaked in August 8th. And you might want to harness that energy, that clear intention, those goals that you've been focusing on and the aspirations, and then maybe even writing them down. That might be actually a really good time to organize and get your podcast kind of started or going as far as even just recording early. So these are just some of the things to think about this summer as you are thinking about launching and whether or not it's the right time. Now, traditionally, business, if I was to tell you whether or not you should launch now as opposed to launching 6 months from now, I'm going to tell you launch now because honestly, if you are excited about it, if you are ready for it, if you feel like this is something you can put forth energy to right now, do it right now. Because in 6 months from now, you never know what could change. And if you already have some episodes in the bank already recorded, during any kind of downtime, hard time, whatever time, birthday time or anniversary or, wow, I got to go on a fantastic vacation somewhere time, those are already going to be sitting there waiting for you. And that's going to be the beauty of it, is that you won't even have to worry about it. So something to consider when you are thinking about whether or not this is the time to launch. Now, being a spiritual entrepreneur, I want you to always check in with your energy. Do you have that energy? I'm going to tell you that right now, I have been recording all day. I've been recording a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm super stoked about it, super excited about it. I am basically about 2 days after the full moon. So this is May 14th, and our flower moon, I believe it was in May, Scorpio moon, huge energy. And I'm really feeling that service. I'm really feeling that nurturing because, we're starting to kind of move out of that season, out of the full moon into the waning. And I'm really feeling like this is the time I want to record. If you had asked me to record 2 days ago on the full moon, I would have been like, no. It is just not in my energy today to do that, or that day to do it. So here's a couple things. So you want to tune in to the season that you are. Are you in a planting season? Are you brainstorming and preparing? Because that's really important. If you're coming up with new concept ideas for a course or a offering, can you kind of brainstorm podcast episode ideas around that? Because ultimately, let's say you have something, and I will be announcing pretty soon here that I have a new course coming out. This new course won't be ready until October, but I already know in my head I've been doing, it's May, and I've been creating videos for it. Will I have a beta launch? Probably, but will it not be actually launched until October? I'm pretty positive about this because that's how I wrote it out. So I actually did some brainstorming and preparing, and I've just gotten all of these little steps in a row so I know what videos I have to record, what PDFs I have to create, what workbooks, what check sheets, all of that. Another piece of this is if you're in the planting season of brainstorming and preparing, great, excellent. Are you in a season where you are blooming? Are you ready to launch? Are you ready to be visible? And here, visibility means by voice, right? So are you ready to put your voice out there? Are you ready to do this? Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you, as far as my worst month of the year to do any kind of recording is going to be March. I don't know why I always catch a cold in March. So I know mentally, and this could be different, absolutely. But I know that I live in the Boston area, and I really want to make sure that I have quite a few number of episodes in the bank ready to go just in case. Like, I have actually gotten the flu so bad one year, I lost my voice for 12 weeks. Yep. You can ask my sister. I worked at a scrapbook store, and I can't even remember what year it was, in the 2010s, somewhere between 2010 and somewhere around there. Maybe it was a little earlier, just about there. And I just got the flu, and it ruined my larynx. And I was actually teaching craft classes at the time, and it was so hard, but everybody understood. Everybody that came to class, when they heard me, when they saw me, realistically, all it was probably just pity, just understanding. And it took quite a bit of time, probably because I still had to use it, right? I had little kids at the time, and I was teaching at the time because that was my job, was teaching craft classes. And so you need your voice, and it really hurts to not have it for that long. So now when I do catch a cold, I have a tendency to lose it pretty quickly. And again, it comes back, obviously, but I do have like a little bit of a raspiness to my voice. Like I've always had like that little bit of a huskiness. And I think that is probably from the flu all those years ago. So something to consider is if you are ready to launch, are you ready to be visible and be heard? And if you are, maybe, get a little bit further ahead so that you can actually get a little bit of time if you need it. And then are you in a harvesting type season, right? Obviously, we talked about, we're falling into or coming into Lunasa very soon. It is a harvest season, right? We are going to be in the refining and the amplifying, and we're ready to do this. So if you are thinking that this is a good time, then, fall is an amazing, amazing time to launch a podcast. People are starting to get more into their regular routines. People have more time. They're going back to the gym. They are not doing as many vacations. Their kids are doing the things that they normally do. People are just having a more scheduled type of day, unlike summer, where, you could have a ton of visibility. You could have a full launch and all of that in the summer, as I have here. But I'm really guessing, or I'm really thinking that my podcast is really going to start taking off with the numbers come fall. It's just the way it is. Just people have more time. And then the other season could be maybe if you aren't interested at all and you're resting and you're just like, you know what? I'm in a spot where I need to really recharge before I can do this. And I was actually in this spot earlier this year. I have such a problem with doing any kind of scheduling of my year come January 1st. I know I have a business. I know that this is what people are supposed to do on January 1st is have this whole planned out year. I don't feel it. I do not feel it. It is not until March, until probably spring, that I finally feel like I'm actually coming alive. And I really feel that like, okay, now I can do some planning. I'm really in a cocoon area in the winter. Again, I live in Boston. It has a tendency to be cold. We do have the wood stove. Sometimes we have snow. Sometimes we don't. I still have to go out and take care of the chickens. I still have to look after the dogs. I still have things that I have to do. But business just kind of rolls in a fluid, not really in the mood to think about a lot of new things, just trying to conserve my energy and stay warm. So if that is the season that you are in, then maybe a podcast right now isn't the appropriate time. Maybe it is the time to just rest and evaluate before you move on to the next cycle of your life. And then, spring comes again and you feel like seeding new ideas, and then you launch and you refine and you harvest and you do it all over again. Which, again, I guess kind of just goes by my whole thing about making sure you have a whole bunch of episodes in the bank and doing some bulk recording. All right, you're not behind. Your timeline is divine, and you are off to a great start. Whether or not you start today or whether or not you start tomorrow, there's no too late. There's no missed deadline. You will launch in alignment with your energy so that you can have a sustainable podcast. If you have any questions on when to launch your podcast or how to launch your podcast, I recommend that you go to kpcreativemedia.com. And at the very bottom of that page there's a little button that says, get your 8 steps to launch your podcast. And you'll get that little workbook, and it will just kind of walk you through the steps that you need to launch. And if you've already launched and you would like some clarity on how to grow, I also have a button on that page for that as well. So that button is at the top. All right. Hopefully you can find the season and the timing for your launch. And I look forward to hearing about that. Send me a message and let me know. Thanks so much, and have a fantastic and beautiful week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Podcasting for Spiritual Women. If you would like more strategy and tips and some tricks on how to make your podcast better, I recommend that you join my newsletter list. You can find that at kpcreativemedia.com/newsletter. Until next time.